Most proxies spend all day theory crafting tight rotations and flashy combos, but when it comes to stun, there's one factor that gets overlooked more than any other. Hey Proxies, Zenpai here. What is stun? A specialty some agents have like attack or anomaly? A phase in combat where you get to mindlessly wail on your enemies without getting rocked?
Rest in peace!
Is it as simple as more days good? Or is there more to it? Today, we're diving into everything you need to know about stun, so you can finally answer the real question: harmony or disco? The first to click off is stun is a combat mechanic that rewards smart team building and proper play. It makes enemies vulnerable, increases damage taken, and opens the door for chain attacks. To trigger stun, you need to build up the enemy's daze bar using skills. But not all skills are created equal. Each one has its own daze multiplier, and that's just one piece of the puzzle. This is the Daze Accumulation formula. There are 7 variables grouped in a series of 5 multipliers. Let's break it down by multiplier type. This is your agent's impact stat. It does this. What this means is, the higher your impact is, the more days you will build up. This stat is a flat value and a multiplier on its own, so raising it has a visible effect. For example, if your impact stat goes from 100 to 120, you'll see about a 20% increase in days. But as you keep increasing it, the effect diminishes. Just something to watch out for. Next is your daze damage multiplier. It is found in your agent's skill page. This value directly affects how quickly you build up daze and trigger stun. Leveling up skills boosts this multiplier, so if you're struggling to get stuns, consider upgrading your skills. Now onto the daze attack multiplier. This is the total of all daze increases and decreases applied to your agent. For increases, sources of this include triggers additional ability, which increases the daze of her aftershocks, Shockstar Disco's 4-piece bonus effect, which increases daze by some skills by 20%, and Tusk of Fury's effect, which increases daze by 12%. For decreases, I wasn't able to find any effects that directly decrease the amount of daze damage that your agents do, but it's probably some obscure effect that you can find in either Lost Void or Hollow Zero. Next is the target's daze resistance. Daze res is tied to an enemy's weakness and resistances. You'll notice that applying daze to an enemy with a weakness to your attribute is more effective than trying to do the same thing to one that resisted instead. As of 1.6, there's currently no way to directly influence daze res. I may be overlooking an obscure Rezonia effect, Mindscape, or skill effect though, so let me know if I'm mistaken. Under most circumstances, this multiplier will remain untouched, which is good as we can test our builds more easily with less variables. Lastly is the daze target multiplier. This is a total of all daze increases and reductions applied to the target. I find it interesting that some effects can be applied to the attacker or the target, and can be stacked like this. Unfortunately, sometimes the wording for these can be a bit ambiguous. I imagine that sources of this would be buffs or debuffs a boss might have or be afflicted by through the course of combat. The following are the closest things to examples I could find. For increase, Deadly Assault's Typhon Destroyer. In its enemy details, you'll find that stacking the Overwhelm debuff increases daze by 15%. It's ambiguous, unfortunately. I interpret this as a target increase, since the stacks are on Typhon and not on our agents. If anyone can confirm or deny this interpretation, please comment below. For decrease, let's look at the Armored Hottie. In its sheer defense information, it states its armor significantly reduces damage and days taken. Seems pretty straightforward, and the armor is something you can break off. So in this case, this multiplier can be influenced by your approach to battle. It's great that the formula for Daze is so versatile. Having 7 different factors affecting the 5 multipliers of accumulation really lends itself to dynamic gameplay. You not only have to consider your builds, but how you play and who you're facing. Feelin Dazed? Take a break and drop a comment. If you learned something so far or want to share some impactful info, that's the best way to do it. And now for the next part. With the daze bar full, drop a heavy attack. This drops the stun meter, allowing up to 3 chain attacks depending on your team. And yes, using a bang boo chain attack will trigger your agent's chain attack as well. The stun damage multiplier can be seen here. This is a unique multiplier, and you'll only really see diminishing returns if you stack more of it from sources like Lycan's additional ability or Ching-Yi's core passive. This portion of the stun cycle isn't very complicated. You just want to unload as much of your damage as possible while this multiplier is active. Now, most proxies spend all day theory crafting tight rotations and flashy combos, but when it comes to stun, there's one factor that gets overlooked more than any other: time. In Deadly Assault, the toughest content so far, you have just 3 minutes to do as much damage as possible. Getting even one more stun window can be the difference between ranking up or falling short. This is why Proxies chase high-impact Daze stacking comps. However, they're failing to look at how time can impact all of their theory crafting. In the following video, we'll talk about a practical application featuring our newest premium stunner, Trigger. And don't worry, by the end of that, we'll have actually answered the question. And I even have a gift for all of you. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new about Daze.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.